This car with a bunch of kids pulls up next to me and says, "Are you talking to me?"
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Mr. De Niro, I'm going to start with you. You've obviously studied so many real people in order to pull off performances, whether it's the cab drivers of New York or Lefty Rosenthal or Jake LaMotta. And while you weren't studying them at the time, you have met multiple presidents in your lifetime. So I'm sort of curious, when you shook hands with President Clinton or President Obama, what do you remember about the man, the office, or that moment that maybe stuck with you long enough to be able to bring to this character?
I get a vibe that comes through in the hand. All of a sudden, it all comes to me. No, I mean, cumulatively meeting presidents, politicians over the years, yeah, that has seeing them on television, being interviewed, making speeches. I can feel and understand it.
Well then, thanks for coming.
Madam President, so what's the plan?
Congress is authorizing a special zero-day commission.
So much of this show is about looking to the past for help. A current president reaches out to a former president to say, hey, I'm in this impossible situation, can you help me? And I want to use that as a springboard to point out what I think is a really interesting commonality between the two of you, which is that both of you have played younger versions of iconic Oscar-winning characters. Obviously, Annie Wilkes, Kathy Bates, and Vito Corleone with Marlon Brando. So in the spirit of looking to the past for help, I'm curious, what was your relationship to the past, to those actors and those performances that helped you pull off what a lot of people would say was an impossible situation?
I want to hear your answer on this.
Well, in my case with Godfather 2, I guess, I went up at the Gulf and Western building at the time with one of the producers, Gray Fredrickson, and we took a reel-to-reel recorder, tape recorder, and just recorded the scenes in the screening room, in the theater, of the Brando scenes. And that's what I worked with. I took those and kept them with me for the whole movie while I was shooting. And it was just kind of to study where I could fit in things, or the way he did something, I could do it similarly, or similarly enough that you get the connection.
Did he ever react?
I didn't know him then. I knew him after. Got to be friendly with him after, and I did a movie with him, but that was years later.
Ms. Kaplan?
I don't want to
Come on,
follow
no,
that.
I actually had the great pleasure
true
of
story.
speaking with Miss Bates, and as I walked out, I said, have you seen Lizzie Kaplan? She goes, oh my God, she's incredible. Have you watched Castle Rock yet?
Yes.
Oh my God, how good is it?
I love her.
She was gushing about you.
She actually sent me flowers, which was really classy. She's amazing. That's one of my all-time favorite performances. I love that movie so much. She was perfect in it. So I think there's some characters that you are kind of more tasked with making your own, even if it is more of a remake or a revisiting. But that one is so iconic. That Annie Wilkes, people, they want certain things from their Annie Wilkes. So I wanted to honor that while trying to put a little bit of my own spin. But really, I wanted it to feel like my Annie could turn into that Annie.
As a fan of, I have to tell you, you were flawless.
Thanks.
You were genuinely flawless, as you often
Really
are.
nice.
Mr. De Niro, 50 years ago this year in 1975, you were here in New York City filming what is my favorite movie of your career, which is Taxi Driver. And I've always heard the mythologized version of you talking to me.
Talking to me? Then who the hell else are you talking? Talking to me?
I've always heard different people's version. The big story being that Mr. Scorsese basically said, just ad-lib something in front of the mirror. I'd love to get your memory of that day, of Mr. Scorsese's direction, and also just your understanding of who Travis Bickle was that would, you think, make him say something like that.
Well, Marty remembers better than I do, because there was a scene where he's with the gun that's coming out of the sleeve and stuff. I forget if there was any dialogue in the script. I have it, I haven't looked at it in years. That's where it seemed right to have that kind of conversation with himself. That's what I did. But seriously, Marty, I don't know if you ever talked to him, but he'll know the actual what happened. I forgot, and I haven't looked at it. So.
Do people, when you deliver a line like that, do people make a big deal in the moment, or is it years later that you start recognizing, oh, this is kind of caught on. This has become a thing.
I didn't realize it till years later. Once I was driving at night in Culver City, and this car with a bunch of kids pulls up next to me and says, "Are you talking to me?"
That was the first moment you went, oh, this isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, that was funny.
So much as we wrap up, so much of this story is about characters who are haunted. They're haunted by their past. They're trying to escape as they're moving forward. I'm sort of curious, is there an acting equivalent of that? Do you allow yourself to be followed by past characters, or is it when I hear cut on the last day, I'm done and I have to move on?
I've never really been somebody that takes it home, especially now. I have a small son. He doesn't care about anything that I do during the day. He just wants, me to do whatever he says when I get home. So I've never really, it wasn't a big shift after having him to stop being more of a methody actor. I've never really done that.
Fair enough. Mr. De Niro, do you ever?
No, I mean, you can if you're really involved in something day after day. I mean, you have something there. I mean, it's not like but you do just sort of let it go when you're going into another part of your life. It's not like you go home and you're that character and you're gonna whatever you did on the thing. Now you're gonna do it to your family. No, I mean, though there is something, a little something in some ways, just feel or something, but not like it was just having fun, making fun of. But there was a movie once that there was a movie about that, I forget the name of it, an actor who comes home and gets so lost in the character. And I've thought of doing a movie like that. I forget what the character would do. I didn't know what character it would be, but we did think of it. And I don't know whether it was, now that I think of it, it could also be very funny. Not just, it could be real and funny, but.
I kind of need to see you do this. I feel like
Interesting, yeah.
I feel like the amount of characters that if you were to bring them home would be unbelievable. Guys, this is some of the best television I've seen in a we watch everything, and some of the best work I've seen in a long time. I think it's my favorite. You and Annie Wilkes, that's two of the best performances of your career.
So nice.
It's one of your best. So seriously, thank you truly for all your time.
Thank you.
I know you have a very busy day.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.